Welcome to my new home. It's been a long time coming. I'm actually really emotional to even be doing this right now. It's been not, I don't want to say it's been the most stressful month of my life because I don't know, looking back, like if I had, but I mean, I can't remember a time where it's just one thing after another in my life has taken a turn that hasn't felt good, has felt disappointing or confusing, sad, frustrating, dealing with a lot of people with I'm trying to think of the right words. It's incredulous. A lot of incredulous people I've been dealing with for the last month of my life. It's been quite a phenomenon. The stress has just been enormous. And to deal with it, I've been eating. I've been hungry, just a constant feeling of just so hungry and probably craving more sugar than usual. And I presume it has to do with just a lack of sweetness happening, like coming in. Usually I'm surrounded with sweetness. So in my life, like sweet experiences, sweet times, sweet things happening, a focus on sweetness and harmony. And I can honestly say that I was just not, it's not like I wasn't prepared. Like I know how to have a good mindset and how to work through things that are disappointing. But when it's just one after another, that took a toll, took a major toll. And so I think between that craving the wrong foods, unhealthy foods, the sense of just needing to eat all the time just to feel something, or to deal with what was going on. But then I was mostly eating healthy foods because that's just what I don't go to the store and fill my house with crap. So it was of the healthy stuff. I was eating the less healthy of the healthy stuff. And I just blew up, like gained so much weight. And I think a lot of it because of how fast I gained so much weight, still eating relatively healthy most of the time, even though there was like eating more food, it still was like happened so fast that like I feel like in some areas of my body I look pregnant, and I'm like, I've never experienced that kind of level of bloating or whatever it is, where just where the weight is, how my body is carrying the weight. And it has to be the stress, has to be the stress of what's been going on. Anyway, we're in the house. We moved in. All I can say is we were looking house hunting for a long time. We had some credit issues, so it was really hard to get a place to approve us to move in. Even though we have the income, we just didn't have the credit. So that was something that we just weren't expecting. And a lot of places were just taking our applications and telling us they'd get back to us and then stringing us along and not getting back to us. And I found out that there's a lot of people that just take applications to take application fees. And that sucks. And this is something that I wish could change across the board somehow without government, but I don't know how. That every single one of these motherfuckers takes a different company's credit check thing, so that you have to pay a separate fee for every single property just to apply. So the application fees are like, and I understand they have to call your people and all of that, and that takes time and money, but they're also going to be, if they place you, they're going to be getting your income to pay their salary for a long, long time to come. And so this is one of those things where this should be just part of their job and the service they do. And they should roll it up in there somehow or something. But there should be one company that everyone uses across the board for applications, and stop fucking around with tenants, trying to like play games to get everyone to pitch in $45 per person at each individual house that you try to apply for, or apartment you try to apply for, because that's hundreds of dollars. It's just hundreds that are just going to nothing. I mean, when you think about it. Okay, so we went through all of that. We almost signed a lease with a guy for like a brand new house. It didn't have a lot of storage. We were like really like, I don't know if this is going to work, but we'll make it work. It's a brand new house, so we're not going to have any issues with mold, plumbing, electricity. The guy built this 1800s house from the ground up, and he put a lot of work into it. And then we were looking at the garage, and the garage was basically, they left an old shack that is basically condemned building on the property, and they're calling it a garage, and they're saying it's included and you can do whatever you want with it, but it's got like it needs to be taken down. And he just ran out of money, and he got in a car accident, broke his arm. We're just about to sign the lease. We're there, and I'm looking over the lease, and it says that he can show up at any time, at any day. Yes, talking about my house journey, correct. He can show up whenever he wants. He wanted to come by to collect the rent in person and check out the house every single month. And I was like, when does it feel like home? Like, it's bad enough that we have to rent and it doesn't feel like home. But it's another thing, like another added layer, when you've got a landlord that wants to just check in on you at random all the time, and you just feel like you're like auditioning for homemaker or something of the year or whatever, and you just never feel like, and we're very tidy people for the most part, but I like sometimes leave the dishes on the sink overnight and get to them like the next day, or stuff's in the dishwasher, and so I don't get it, even if it's 2 days or something like that. I don't think that's horrible, but like with kids and family and so much stuff. But long story longer, I just didn't like the feeling of like, this isn't my, yeah. So and then he was saying that it was a $2,000 a month plus $2,000 deposit. And then he said that you wouldn't get back 50% of your deposit. And I was like, what the fuck? 50 fucking percent of the deposit you keep regardless of how I clean the house, plus you might get more. So this was a house like right before we moved. That was like one of the last ones we looked at. Hang it with me, because there's something coming at the end of this that I want to share with you guys. That's like where I'm going right now, today, at the end of this. But I just want to kind of give a little backstory on what we've been through. When we started looking over the lease, there was just too many things wrong. And then he came down from 50% to 40% would be non-refundable. And it was too much. And I was like, fuck that. I am not losing like almost $1,000 just for signing a lease, like for no reason. Like what on earth could he need $1,000 non-refundable deposit? Like that's not even a deposit anymore. I think all of this is, they're all have these clauses of you don't get 400 back or you don't get 300 back or whatever it is. Anyway, we moved in here. This one, it was a place we were looking at, and I said, well, let's just look at it. And this, if we don't find anything else, this is our backup place. So we moved into the backup place. And the day that we went in to sign the lease, everything in every cell of my body was screaming at me, don't sign, don't sign. We get there. I didn't really want this place. I could see that it was, you know, ugly. It was an ugly duckling. The kitchen counters are Formica. They're chipped up. There's missing pieces. The cabinets looked really beat up in the kitchen. It's a very small kitchen. There's no pantry. I was just looking and I was just like, this is very last resort. And so here we are, the very last day, and there was just seemed like there was no place to go. And Aaron's mom is fantastic. I call her my fairy godmother-in-law. She was like, just put everything on a truck and wait and look for a few more days. But Aaron was really like, we can't do that. We can't do that. Like he wanted to get settled. He just wanted to get settled really bad. Well, we're not settled. It's been over a month and we're still in boxes. So moving in here did not settle a fucking thing. So the next time my intuition is screaming, don't sign, don't settle, to try to settle. Don't settle to settle, then I'm not going to do it. But I'm just going to go on with the story. We were in the middle of a move. It was Halloween. And nobody, like a bunch of people volunteered to help us move. And what happened was it was Halloween. And I don't think they realized that we were moving on Halloween. And so they all had other things going on. And so we didn't think we were going to have to hire movers because all these people are volunteering. And then every single one of them like just disappeared. But lo and behold, some people showed up that didn't even say they were going to. They just showed up out of the blue to help us move. And that was awesome. It wasn't enough people. It was amazing and it was helpful, but we still had to pay and hire professional movers at the very last minute. We had everything on trucks, but to unload and everything, we had to have help. And my eye is twitching right now. My eye has been twitching for almost 2 months. Like, that's so weird. I've had an eye twitch in times of stress, but never for 2 months straight. So that's something. Let me see if you could see it. It's like very, anyway, I don't know. Just funny. Anyway, let's get going. So we're in the middle of moving. It's Halloween. We need to do what we need to do to move. I kept thinking Steve Harvey was going to show up and tell me that I won Publishers Clearinghouse Sweepstakes, the largest prize they'd ever awarded in the history of the sweepstakes. I just knew it was going to happen. And so that was what was making me happy all day, regardless of like all the crap that was going on and how like exhausted we were. So the last final day of the move, we had like getting stuff loaded on trucks and the whole shebang. And so right in the middle of our move, this property said, can you come by at noon? And I'm like, I can come by later if you like if it works out better for you. And she was like, no, noon. And I'm like, okay. So Aaron and I, in the middle of a move when we need to be there and no one's showing up to help us, are getting in the car and driving up to Ogden, 30 minutes and 30 minutes back. So to sign a lease. So I'm thinking 30 minutes there and 30 minutes back. We were in their office for 2 hours. They didn't have a lease typed up for us. So, and the girl showed up about a half hour late. So we get there, wait a half hour, they show up, and then they start typing our lease out. So we're sitting there for 2 hours. It took us 3 hours to get our lease signed. Like, everything was telling me, don't sign this lease. This is like everything. And I'm like, where the fuck is Steve Harvey? I just kept waiting for my mother-in-law to call me and go, Steve Harvey's here, get back to the house. So I wouldn't have to sign. I was so sure it was going to happen, you guys. But that's like what just kept me above all of the harshness of what happened. So we get into the house and we start realizing things are not right here. Like, all the light switches up, when it's, you know, when you flip a light switch up, that's to turn it on. You flip it down to turn it off. It's all backwards through the whole house. Everything is wired backwards. Wherever the light switches are for the room, like if they're in a hall or something, the one furthest away, the furthest away from the light you're trying to turn on is the one that it's for. So everything's like backwards and just whatever, hot, cold. Like, when they were doing the plumbing yesterday, they were like, oh, crap, I need to redo this, because where the hot water's coming out is where the cold should be. And where the cold should be coming out is the hot, just to make sure your sink is right. I'm going to have to redo all the hoses and everything, because everything in this house was piped backwards. The house is just something else. It was filthy. The ceilings were disgusting. They painted the walls, but they left the ceilings. The ceilings in the kitchen are just gross. Every cabinet is sticky. It's still sticky. When I touch it, it's sticky. When I open and close, they stick. So I have to pull them really hard, because what they've done is they haven't cleaned them, and then they've slopped some kind of finish or stain on top of them and not properly stained them and let them cure. They're just putting stain over the top of whatever's there. So there's like chunks of like bacon and food that I've had to scrape off of them. It took us over like a week just to clean enough to put our dishes in the cupboards, because the insides of the cupboards was covered with like grease splatter in every part of every inside of every cupboard. And there was a leak under the bathroom sink that my mother, they said there was a leak or something was going on in the basement. There's this whole mold clause inside the lease, but I overlooked it because A, we were at the last minute, B, Aaron wanted to get settled, and C, I figured it's Utah, like everything's so dry here, mold's not going to be a problem. Well, we were looking and I was like, we move in, and then they have these boards that they had, the old pedestals that the washer and dryer were on. And when we move it out of the way, it's just mold all along the wall there. And they sent out plumbers to look, and then none of the lines in the laundry room were leaking. Well, my mother-in-law is cleaning under the sink. And if anybody had actually cleaned this house before we moved in, they would have discovered that the downstairs bathroom was leaking, and it's adjacent to the wall where the laundry room is, and it was all leaking in there. Hi, Karma. Yeah, so anyway, so we figure out where the leak is. They send out this handyman that is a super nice guy, but he is just not competent to fix this kind of stuff. And water's gushing out. He goes and tries to turn the water off at the main and breaks the thing off because it's so old, it just falls apart. And I love you too. So anyway, the handle like breaks right off of the water main for the main, and then that starts leaking. And then another guy comes out and he kind of stops it from leaking, but then as people are turning it off and on, it's leaking again now. So then the lady just stalls, like she's not gonna fix anything, or she's gonna send this guy out each time, and he's just gonna show up when he feels like it. They show up, don't tell me they're coming, and just assume that since I'm a housewife, I'm just gonna be there and let them in. And it was totally disrespectful. They're just showing up whenever they feel like it. No one's telling me anything. No one's telling me if they're going to fix it. And they offered us out of our lease. Like the 3 days into it, they said, you can get out. Because they didn't want to deal with the old lady that owns the house, because she is a piece of work. She's a complete victim. That's her mindset. And she's not a good place. She's not a good person. I like to say she means well, but I don't know what she means. She means to not be responsible for her own mistakes or the people she hires, and she's just trying to save a buck, and she will, and to get the upper hand. So they offer me out of my lease. They say they would get a refund, and then later I find out that the refund was just the deposit, and they were going to keep the rest of the rent, or only up till the day that we stayed. And I'm like, look, we spent $1,600 on movers to get in here. I lost that. You're not going to give me the month that I'm like sitting here. So for the last month, we have been back and forth where they tell us she's going to fix it. She's going to do everything right. And then they go, oh no, we hoped she would fix it. And then back to square one, where you can get out of your lease if you want, and we'll give you a refund, but only refund you the part of the rent that you didn't, whatever. And and so on all the days that we have to move in, instead of moving in, I'm driving around looking at properties to move into, to move out of here and keep as much as we can in boxes so I don't have to pack it back up. So that's how we've lived here, out of boxes, for an entire month. In the meanwhile, I know some of you know that I had a breast reduction surgery. And so I've been back and forth with the office of the surgeon that I had do my surgery, because he left me so big that I still have back problems. And that's why I went in, was to get rid of back problems. And he left me so big, it's inconceivable. And I was very clear with him about what I wanted going in. So there was no like misunderstanding. They offered me first a surgery minus his fee, but wanted me to pay for a second surgery for all the other fees, which was adding up to about $2,500 to get a revision. And I was like, that doesn't seem right. Like, you don't leave somebody this much bigger and go, you're still going to have to pay to do more. And I think if it's somebody being nitpicky and just like wanting one size down or whatever, that's different. And so we've been going back and forth. That's also been really stressful, because while it's happening, the whole process, they've been trying to manipulate me and trying to gaslight me. And I don't like that feeling. And I'm not used to dealing with people treating me that way when I'm being nice and fair and upfront with people. So finally, they came up with an offer at the beginning of the month to pay me $1,500 to say that, like, to reimburse me. And I was like, no, the first offer was $5,000 off my surgery. And this way you don't even have to do the surgery. So you can give me $5,000. You can give me your fee. So then they said they would get back to me. And then it's been 4 weeks and they never got back to me. And then when I call, there's more gaslighting, because whenever I call, and I gave them a week, and a half, and then started calling, and then they were like, oh, she's here and she wants to talk to the office manager. I'm like, okay. And then because I said $1,500 doesn't sound right, you offer more the first time. So they said they'd talk about it, get back to me. And now they're playing games like, oh yeah, she's here and she wants to talk to you. I'll go get her. She's downstairs. And then, oh, she left on vacation, but she wants to call you, but she's actually on the plane right now. So she's not going to be able to call you till she lands. I mean, like, how do they even know that she wants to call me if she's allegedly on a plane? How do they know she's out of town? Like 1 second when they say they're going to go talk to her in her office, like 3 seconds later. Today, when I called, they said that she called me yesterday and she's calling up to me today. And I'm like, what? Like, no one has called me. And then they said she's going to call you before she leaves. It's on her list of calling you before 6:30. Now, it's 8 p.m. So She didn't. And unless she's intentionally calling an old number they have for me on file, which she's already called me on the right number. So if she's calling on the wrong one, she's doing it on purpose. And they finally did so that's what's going on with that situation. And then back to this house situation, it finally came down to basically me writing a message of like, this was supposed to happen this way. And I'm not going to stay in this house, and I will sue everyone involved to get not only my deposit back, but also my month's rent back plus $1,600 for my move. And because that's what it cost me to be here. And I should get more damages, but you're either that or you're going to fix the mold downstairs. You're going to properly hire remediators. You're going to clean out the HVAC system. You're going to tarp it all off, and you're going to do it in the right order. And there's not going to be some hairy homeowner handyman coming over to handle this. You need to send a proper plumber that's a licensed plumber to do it. And then you need to rip out the vanity. You've had 3 people come by and say exactly what needs to be done here. What if it's not getting done yet? Then this is bullshit, and I basically had to kind of jump up and down and scream at the top of my lungs, but in a very diplomatic, nicely worded email messages and whatnot, that they finally got across to the homeowner that I'm not an idiot and that this is bullshit and that she's going to get sued. Like, I'm going to take them to court. I'm going to get what I'm going to get. And they're going to take her to court, and they're going to get from her not only what I've charged, but also expenses for attorney fees to fight me in court, and then attorney fees to fight her in court. And they're going to win it all, and she's going to be fucked, or something to that effect. But long story longer, they finally showed up and started doing it all. Of course, there was still Saturday morning at 8 a.m. I'm exhausted. I've had a cold or health issues, probably from the mold. We all got sick, and it's just not going away. It's like this lingering, we got sort of mostly over it, but still like this lingering thing. So Saturday morning, I'm sleeping in. No one was scheduled to come over, and a painter came over at 8 a.m. and starts ringing my doorbell. And I wouldn't answer, kept ringing, finally went away, came back again at 10. I was still in bed because I was not well, and then being woken up at 8 took me a while to get back to sleep, and finally I just let him in. I was like, okay, nobody told me you were coming. I don't have a text, I don't have a fucking call, I have nothing. Nobody said anybody was coming today. I'm in my pajamas, I'm sick, and I didn't expect visitors. So they got it all done now, this weekend. They got it all done as of yesterday. And then I get a text from the property managers that the homeowner wants to come over and see everything so that she can pay the people that did the work. And I just wrote back, I was like, she can pay them. Like, I've never heard of a homeowner need to come and inspect every single repair that is made before paying the people that did the repairs. That is a new one on me as a renter. I've been renting for years, and I've never heard of a homeowner needing to come in and inspect every single repair that's done before they submit a payment to the company. I said, however, if she would like to come by, don't come by today. Like, today was Erin's one day off of the week. I don't want to see her. I'm so livid. I don't even want to look at her. And that leaves me with what I wanted to share tonight, because all of this has just been so intense. So beyond, we should have been spending our money and our whatever. The other thing is, with all the kitchen and everything else, there's no pantry in here. There's hardly any shelving. So I'm having to spend a lot of money on organizational things in the house. Oh, we went through 3 refrigerators. I didn't tell you that. She tried to get a really cheap refrigerator to screw us over and ended up screwing herself over and us because we had to clean a whole shitty refrigerator and then it didn't work and it didn't even cool food down. And then we got another refrigerator in here that was leaking in an unknown way that they'd never seen before, that we cleaned all out, and then it was leaking all over our food. And then finally she had to go buy an actual refrigerator. And so she's stressing herself out and stressing us out just to try to save money. And she's whatever, a dick. I don't know how to say it nicely, but it's been exhausting. What I want to get to is that I've been thinking a lot about forgiveness. And some years ago, I was really feeling upset that I didn't have a mother. And I grew up without one about 1.5 or 2 years ago. I was going through this thing about feeling motherless and feeling how unfair it was to be motherless. And so I decided to think about ways in which I wasn't motherless, or in which the universe or God provided some kind of maternal something that I could cling to, that I could see every single day, that I could count on, that was always there and was always consistent. And I thought of the moon, because the moon is like very feminine energy type of thing. So I stuck to the moon, and I decided that I was going to tap on knowing that God has offered me the moon as a constant in my life, to be there for me, to show me constant feminine support and energy for my cycles in life and for all my womanly things that were going on for me hormonally, and for balance and for any kind of support that I needed, and that I could depend on the moon, and that God provided this for me to remind me that there was a maternal type of figure in my life that was there. And so I did a lot of tapping, and then within a few days I got a check in the mail from my actual mother for $100,000. So the reason I'm bringing this up right now is because when I went through that process, something in me like led me to that process of like seeing things in a new way, to reframe things. My friend Melanie Moore, who's also my mentor in doing EFT tapping and stuff like that, has talked to me about like lately about reframing things, that this is happening for you and not to you. And so I've stumbled upon something, and I think it's called Counterpoint. No, that's not it. I can't think of the name of it. But what it is, it's a practice of centering for a meditation. And the process is that your mental thinking and whatever, you kind of start by noticing your breath. So it's kind of like a meditation where you start noticing your breath is going in your body and out of your body. And then all of your mental mechanisms, all of that, whatever, trying, thinking, whatever is going on, what they ask you to do is to drop it into your heart. Like drop your conscious awareness of all of that, and then bring it to your heart space if you can. So see if you can put your mind into your heart space. And I've been writing about forgiveness and this process. So we're bringing this into this space. And then when you get to the heart space, you just try to feel your heart. Like what feelings do you have? Like can you feel what your heart feels like? Not just a beat, but like, can you feel where your heart is? And for me, I do this, even I feel elated, and in my heart space, it's like a joyful, tickly feeling. That's what I feel when I feel my heart. And so I think that's love. I'm not 100% certain, but I think that joyful, tickly feeling that my heart feels like is actually, it's joy and it's love. And so when we experience disappointment and things that disrupt our love. That's what unforgiveness is. Forgiveness is giving as you have before. And so it's giving love as you have before. And if you are going through something, it blocks you either from giving or receiving love. And feeling your heart is where it starts. So dropping my consciousness into this, and then as I feel those tickly, happy feelings, I'm going to bring up in my mind, I'm going to bring up thoughts of the situation with my breast reduction surgery and all the disappointment that I felt about it not going the way I wanted it to. And then I'm going to come back to my heart feeling and feel the joy feeling and allow those two things, the sadness, the disappointment, the frustration. And I'm going to allow my heart and the feeling in my heart to reconcile, if it can, the sadness and the disappointment. So it's kind of an integration process of feeling head, sadness, disappointment, or acknowledging and remembering that a lot of shit happened that didn't go the way I wanted it to, didn't go my way, felt like it didn't go my way. And then I'm going to come back to my heart and I'm going to try to feel that love, the joy, the little tickly feeling, the exhilaration. I'm going to kind of go back and forth here and allow myself to give love to the disappointed part of myself. Is there enough love here? Is there enough love here in my heart? Is there enough positivity and joy in my heart to eclipse some of that sadness and disappointment? To remind me that things are happening for me rather than to me. And sometimes like tears come up, right? Because some of this stuff needs to be released. Some of these feelings, to let like the love continue to flow. Now with each of the people that I've dealt with at the office where I had my breast reduction surgery, so I'm going to bring the experience that I've had with the people there that have been less than kind, have been less than forthright, have been yanking my chain at times, or it feels like it. And those feelings in my head, and then come back to my heart. Feel my heart. Find the heart feeling, the joyful, elated, tickly feeling, and then go back to the people that have been mistreating me, back to the head, back to the unfairness of how I've been treated. Let it rest in the heart feeling. Let it rest in the heart space. Come back to the heart. Find the heart. It feels really heavy when it lands on my heart at first. And I think that's just the heart closing off because it's just like, oh, I can't deal with all of this. I need to find my heartbeat. Letting all of it go and find my heartbeat again. Finding, if I can, the up. Wow. My heartbeat just kind of went up a little bit. So like a little faster heart rate so I could find it quicker and easier. That's nice. Thank you. Thank you to my heart. And with that, I'm finding that it's taking a minute. I just want to like walk you guys through this process in real time, because like the miracles happen when you listen to your intuition and it tells you how to deal with things in a new way. And this is a new way for me. And this is something, like I told Aaron, I said, you know, like this is what my intuition's telling me to do, but I'm going to go through it on a Facebook Live. Because last time I went through a process like this, I got $100,000 in the mail. And so I'm not saying I expect that, but that big things happen. Not only do you just let go of the pain and the disappointment and the sorrow and the unfairness and all of these emotions, and feel better and feel healthier. But then other miracles happen. It opens up a space for other miracles to happen. And I don't want to deprive you guys of what this process is. Like, because I could say that I tapped on the moon and then $100,000 showed up out of the blue, but it's more than that. It's this. It's going through this process that is not easy, you know, and there's a release. There's a lot of tears that come up. So not to like sob all over you or to share grief, but to allow this just to like open up again so I can feel my heart again in each of these scenarios. I'm going to get a tissue. I'll be right back. All right. So we were coming back to the heart space. So back to the breathing, dropping all the conscious thought into the heart, letting go of all the mechanisms, all the trying, all the worrying, all the thoughts. Back to the heart, feeling the heart. How does the heart feel? Heart feels good. All right, next. Found the elated, tickly feeling. Now we're going to go on to the surgeon, because the surgeon definitely put me through the ringer, did some gaslighting, just tried to mentally and intellectually manipulate me up very hardcore. And I didn't like that feeling, and it was exhausting. And so I'm feeling the fatigue of that. And now I'm going to go back to the heart to feel love and forgiveness for him. And so I'm going to go back to feeling that heart space. Love and tickly feeling. Found it. This was actually easier than dealing. You don't know, but sometimes, so like when I was thinking earlier about dealing with the office, I was thinking of the girls in the office that are working for him. And it was harder for me to forgive them than it was to forgive him. And I don't know why that is. Maybe I expected more of women than I did of him. I don't know. But at any rate, easier for me to send love to him somehow, and to let go of my feelings of anger or sadness for him, and you know, the forgive them for they know not what they do. Like, it was easier with him. So sending love to him, sending love to his staff, sending love to their business. for all the people that they do help, that write them good reviews, that love their work there, and gratitude for that. I hope that they continue and are carrying on, able to improve their work performance, and maybe use this experience that we had with they had with me to improve their communication skills in the future, and that everything goes better for them. Now onto the house. And now I'm thinking of the company that is our property managers. And dealing with them and whatever has not met my expectations, dealing with them, or whatever disappointment I had dealing with them. And then allowing that to drop into my heart. Thinking of just moving into this house in general and how hard it's been for the past month. How unfair it is that it should have been easier. How that feels unfair. Going back to the heart feeling, looking for breathing and settling into my heart, letting go of all the mental mechanisms, finding my heart space. There we go. Happy feelings in the heart, joy in the heart. Joy in the heart, reconciling. Dear joy in the heart, will you reconcile all of the sadness and difficulty that I've been through for the past month, 2 months with this move? Thank you. Thank you. I'm getting a yes message from my heart. I don't know how to describe it, but my heart beats a little stronger and a little more vibrant, and a little joy leaping up. Like, yes, I can't wait to be happy despite all of this. I can't wait to be happy again. This is a big thank you to my heart. Okay. To all the other property managers that just jerked us around in the process of finding a place up until now. And how they seem to push us into desperation and futility and frustration. I'm going to go to that space and now come back to my heart. Settle in the breath. Consciousness into the heart. Consciousness into the heart. Dear heart, can you eclipse all of that I went through and help me to love and forgive all of these people and love them? Forgive them, for they know not what they do. Yes, it's good. And last, the homeowner. I think one of my kids is looking for me, so I might get interrupted here for a second. Oh my gosh. Big stuff. Sorry. Don't mean to blow my nose on here. Big stuff. Okay, next one is the homeowner. So let's start with a really strong sense of breath. Breathing into my heart, inhaling and exhaling. Allowing all of my mind stuff, worry, stress, anxiety, to disappear as my consciousness rests in my heart. Find my heart space. Can't always find it right away. Sometimes it takes a minute to breathe and to feel the heart. There it is. I feel it. All right. So now that I feel it, very joyful and excited. My heart is such an exciting feeling when you find it. Oh my gosh, it's exhilarating. Okay. And so now we're going to bring in my homeowner, the homeowner of this house that has been so many things exacerbating for everyone to deal with, exhausting, arrogant, belittling, disrespectful, unfair, lots of unfairness happening right now. Annoying, just annoying. Cheap and underhanded in many ways. Victimist and pathetic. Yeah, I have a lot of really strong feelings about her that I can say have happened. So there's a lot of, yeah. So, okay. So I have a lot of like really negative feelings, almost hatred. So this is big angry stuff. My heart feels almost black, cold. It feels like a piece of coal right now thinking about her. So I need to find my heart as it is again. So go back to the heart. Go back to the heart space. Releasing all of that negativity and whatnot, and drop back into the heart. Find the excited heart. Find the joyful heart. Heart, are you ready to release the hatred you have for this person? The unfairness, the smarminess, the victim mindset, the idea making me the bad guy when I have just been here dealing with the problems this person created for themselves. Are you ready to forgive this person? They know not what they do. Come on, heart. Can I forgive this person? Can I find love in my heart for this person? Can the love in my heart eclipse the hatred for this person that has built up? Ooh, that's heavy. I can feel it in my spine. I can feel it in my neck. Like everything feels out of place. Or I'm going to let her go for a minute and just try to get back to my heart, because this is like really heavy stuff right now. I got like tears rolling down my chin, my face. I have hypnotized you. Well, it's forgiveness. Forgiveness is big stuff. Okay. All right. Breathing, releasing, letting go. All right. And I just feel so clenched in there with this one because I was really angry about her behavior. All right, come back to me. Focus on me. Do I love myself enough to let this go? All right. Let all the mental mechanisms dissipate, relax. Find my breath. Find my heart. There's the heart. There's the joy. There it is. Okay. We've got that back. Come on, heart. Let's let it go. Let's let all of it go. Can I forgive her? Yeah. The heart space just makes me want to smile. It's like my cheekbones go up and it's just this joyous feeling. Am I ready to let it go now? Yeah, like as soon as I said that, my heart went thump, 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 thump. Like, am I ready to let it go now? Yes, yes, my heart is ready. All right, you guys, if you understand this is forgiveness. It happens here, like literally here. You have to feel it, and your heart will help you through it and walk you through it, and it's not going to let you down, and you can count on it, and the love that you have for yourself will increase, I believe, by heart leaps and bounds as you allow yourself to, you know, reconcile so many things with the joy in your heart. And this is part of the process. And I might need to go through this again. I don't know, you know, like it might take a few days of practicing this over and over before I really released all of it. But I just wanted to share the process with you as I'm going through it right now, because I really felt like I needed to stop and do this. And I haven't been live in a while, and I haven't shared for a while what I've been going through. And so, you know, I just wanted to gift you guys with witnessing this process. So maybe you can duplicate it in yourself at some point, because I feel like there's something really powerful to learn from this process. And find your center and hopefully forgive other people so that you can improve your own experience of life. That's what it's all about. All right. I love you guys. I love you. And thank you so much for sticking with me through this process and being there and allowing me to share it with you. And hopefully you use it and find a way to have it in your life and integrate your own things that you need to work on to forgive. That might be situations, it might be people, it might be businesses. You know, there's a lot of, or it might be yourself. You know, you might have to forgive yourself, and you know, that's the next level that I might go to tomorrow or something as I go through this. But that was a lot of letting go right now, lots. So I'm not like a big crier or whatever. So that was big, big, big for me. Anyway, I love you guys, and thank you for sharing this experience with me. And I was happy to share it with you. Have a lovely night. Bye.